So this is about conquering goals. So looking back over the things that I've done since then, and Kilimanjaro is one of those, I started thinking about how did I conquer some goals, how did I conquer my goals. And the first one, I started thinking about the process I had to go through, what was important to me to get some of those goals. I realised there's actually 4 key elements that I go through. There's probably other people are different, but the 4 key elements that I need to have before I can achieve some of these things. The first one is the why. I mean, it sounds pretty obvious, but there needs to be a real reason. The reason needs to be your own. It's got to come from here. It can't be artificial. It can't be made up for you by somebody else, whether that's to lose weight. You can't have your doctor tell you, you've got to feel it. Whether that's to make money, you've got to want to make the money. Whether that's to climb a mountain, you've got to really, really want to do it, because the process is so hard that when the times get tough, you go back to the reason. You've got to go back to the why. So, without such a driving force, you may not ever achieve that goal. It needs to be something big. And for me, the reasons, in fact, I've got a number of different reasons. The first one is give thanks. Now, I've got a lot of people I've got to thank for still being alive. The first one is my family, and particularly my wife, the support network I have around me still, and obviously at the time when I was very sick. The friends that supported me at the time, the medical staff who saved my life, and above all, well, not really above all, but certainly part of it is my donor family, and who made a very, very tough decision to donate the liver of a loved one who had just passed away in very tragic circumstances. And that, when you think about it, is a very, very hard decision to make. And yet they made that decision, and they had donated 8 organs. I was just one of them. So, and I thank them every day. Every day. Another reason I have is to make the most of the second chance I had. Now, I was going to die. I've now had nearly 26 years. So, that second chance is, I actually worked it out last night when I was preparing for this. It's 45% of my life. This is my second chance. And I have plenty of plans ahead of me, so it's going to be more than that 45%. I also want to prove to the world what transplant recipients can do. We're not disabled. We can become members of society, and most people don't even know about a transplant. So I think that's probably an achievement in itself. And for me, it's very much a way of paying forward, and that is if I can influence other people to have the conversation about donating their organs, then I've in effect paid back for the donor family who gave me that chance. So it's just getting the conversation happening. So every year I celebrate the anniversary of my second chance by doing something I've never done before. I made a movie out of it called The Bucket List, and you can work out whether I'm Morgan Freeman or Jack Nicholson. But every year I do something not necessarily adventure-based or a whole range of different things, but for 18 years I celebrated the second chance on or about the 25th of October. That's for you, Paul. That last one wasn't quite 25th of October, that was in April this year. That was the Aug15 trail walker, 100 kilometres walk, non-stop. And you see the time up there, you did it in 25 hours, 47 minutes. And that's the hardest thing we've ever done, still got 4 years from that. Hasn't all been easy. It hasn't quite been a bed of roses. And not long, that's my daughter, by the way. This is the first day of high school. So an important moment in her life. And I've gone over the handlebars of my bike and landed on my face a couple of weeks beforehand. Broken nose, lost a tooth, 80 stitches in my face. I know you can tell. 80 stitches, but actually I survived. I can't remember it, by the way. For 45 minutes of my life, I've completely lost. But it took me 3 weeks to recover, 3 weeks in bed with concussion. But I've been extremely lucky because I have a guardian angel that sits on my shoulder. Guardian angel, never met. Guardian angel, she was killed on the 24th of October, 89. In a car accident, single car, straight road, good day, no one knows what happened. Her parents like to think she swerved as an animal, but she was like that. That's Samantha, that's my donor. So, the first point, reiterate, is you need to have a reason to achieve your goals. The second point I've come to learn is you need the detail. You need the what, the when, the where. Now, you've all probably heard of SMART goals. Can you remember what the SMART goals are? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. I don't think that's quite enough. It's not enough for me because I think a goal should be aspirational. It needs to take you that just a little bit further than what you've done before. So you can probably say my goals are smarter goals. This is a photo of a wall hanging I have in my office at home. And you see that little scribble there. Now, cast your mind back to the photo I showed you of me in intensive care. So I'm in intensive care, I'm still recovering from the surgery. In fact, I've still got the paralysing drugs they give you before a major operation, so I can't move anything. I've still got the respirator down my throat, in my lungs, so I can't talk. And a doctor walked in and, I tried to explain to my wife what a doctor had told me only that day. So I've scribbled that note, and because you can't read it, I'll show it up there. It says, the doctor introduced himself as a transplant registrar. He said, I'm joining an elite group and I'll be getting an invite to the Transplant Olympics. As it turned out, Transplant Olympics are Olympic Games equivalent for transplant recipients, like the Paralympics. I followed that doctor up when I could walk and talk, still in hospital. It turned out the surgeon by the name of Darryl Wall, and he was the team doctor for the transplant team, but the team to go to the World, it's called the World Transplant Games. It can't be called the Transplant Olympics for copyright reasons. So I followed up. Now, I'd always played sport, never been good at anything, but played everything. Okay, never been good at anything. So the idea of me representing my country at sport was just too good to refuse. It was just highly, extremely motivational. So I took up swimming. Now, I had been coached as a kid, hadn't swum for about 15 years. I swam my first lap in training while I was still in Brisbane, just weeks after my transplant. Now, shudder the thought, in a pool, open air pool, I still had to wear a t-shirt over the scar, liver transplant scar, goes from here to there. So that's almost still open. I'm swimming in a public pool with no lanes. Kids throwing balls, kicking, whatever. And I've done my first training lap, so that's how motivated I was. So anyway, I took up swimming, and I represented my country first time in 1991, 2 years after the transplant. And that just, all that did, so I achieved that goal, but all that did was make me want to set more goals, and that is to win for my country. it took me 3 games. Now, they're held every 2 years. So, but my 3rd games, with intensifying the training at every step. So, re-evaluating, improving the training, whatever. First gold medal I won was in Manchester in 1995, 400 freestyle. And I ended up actually doing quite well. I went to 4 World Games, the 4th one being Sydney. The only reason I actually went to the 4th Games, because I achieved my goal, the only reason I went to the 4th Games was because it was in Sydney, and it was the first time my family could come and watch me complete at international level. And luckily, I did quite well. I got 3 gold and silver and something else. So, and a world record, which took about 15 years to break. So that was it. So the second part, summary, the second part is you need an end goal, something measurable, something that's specific, and I had that representing my country and then winning a gold medal. The third component that I found extremely important to me is the who factor. And I realised you just can't do it alone. It's all about having a team around you, a support structure, in other words. It's who you get involved in your quest, and that could be various people at different times. Obviously coaches, it's obviously your family, it's friends who encourage you along the way or help you train. It's just talking to people, and because the more you talk about it, the more you tell people what you're aiming to do, the more they ask questions, because generally people are very interested in what you're doing. And so, and that keeps you motivated, it keeps you back on track. And so it's all about being inclusive and having people involved in it. And it's also, obviously, when times get tough, you go back to it, and then people say, no, you can do that. Try this, do something else. So bringing people into the fold, just by having them around, helps keep you on track. And part of it is you just don't want to let them down. So, and there's also very importantly people who you can get advice from. They may have been there, done that. Seek them out. There's so much information on the internet, so forums and things, and people talk and they'll say, oh, I know someone who did something like that. So you get a phone number, you have a conversation, and I'm reciprocal. I'm happy to talk to anybody about some of the things that I've done too. Just give me a call. So it's all about research. It's all about just so that you know what to do and you prepare yourself so much better. So in 2008, the thing that I wanted to do in October was the Kokoda track. Now, you Kiwis were Neanderthals when it comes to Kokoda because it wasn't an Anzac operation. Kokoda is where the Australian Army was the first people in the world to turn back the Japanese advance on land. We've already talked about New Guinea today. It's over the highlands of New Guinea with the Owen Stanley Ranges. Kokoda was actually an airfield, a village, and it was there, was strategically held by the Australians, and then the Japanese, who invaded, instead of invading New Guinea from the south into Port Moresby, they invaded from the north, which no one expected. The thing was about New Guinea is if New Guinea fell, then theoretically Australia could fall. It would be the next step. No one knew, and still to this day don't know, whether the Japanese had planned to invade Australia. But at the time, obviously you think they thought that that's what was going to happen. So it was extremely important. And to this day, and so more and more now, it becomes a thing that Australians will do, and that is, walk in the footsteps of the heroes and do the Kokoda track. Now, I enlisted the help of, enlisted the help of 2 people here. You last saw them a few years ago. They're a little larger than what they were then. 2 of my sons. The third son, that's James in the yellow and Mark in the blue. James is 26 in that photo, and Mark is 20. Now my theory was that if the old man falls over, then they'll carry me across. And in fact I didn't fall over once, so I was pretty happy with that. But if you know anything about New Guinea, or the Highlands anyway, there's only two things. You're either going up or you're going down. Generally covered in mud, because of tropicals. That photo there is so typical of the Kokoda track. That's Mark in the foreground, by the way. He's walking on a route network of jungle routes, and that was like that for 9 days. So every step you took was a potential disaster. I actually wrote a journal and called it 250,000 decisions because I calculated there'd be plenty of time when you're walking to the thing. I calculated 250,000 steps, and each one was a decision. If you made the wrong decision, you'd be in strife. It just gives you a bit of a taste of what it was like. There are many, many creek crossings. That's a particularly dangerous one. Fast flowing creek, river. Dangerous, of all the photos I had, that one I remember being, I don't remember that particular one, but it must have been dangerous because they made us take our packs off. They're holding us as we walk across the bridge, and they've run ahead and put some safety features onto the bridge. Now the bridge itself bridge itself is held together by a few bits of string, so it's obviously a very stable bridge. And they run ahead and put another bit of string held up by one bit of a twig that is also held by a few bits of string. So if you went over, I mean, sure as hell it's going to save you into that fast flowing stream. So, but yes, that's as Roman testifies, safety features in New Guinea don't exactly go hand in hand. I just put this photo up. It doesn't actually tell you anything about goals, but it does tell you about the Kokoda track. It says to me that nothing has changed in thousands of years. There's one track in, there's grass huts, and there's just jungle all around, and there's nothing else. There's not one sign of progress in humanity for probably 2,000 years. There's certainly no electricity. There'd be nothing, probably very little would be made, like out of metal or anything like that. What is important to me, and one of the reasons I wanted to do Kokoda, is because as a hobby, I do read up a lot about the exploits of the Australian diggers. And this is a memorial in a place called Isaraba, which is a very famous battle. The Kokoda track, for those who don't know, is a rearguard action. So they started, I think, Kokoda, and then they kept fighting the Australians, the very, very poor poultry force that they sent up there against the might of the Japanese. It was basically a series of rearguard actions, and this is one of them in a place called Isaraba. And the 4 pillars, that memorial was put there by the Australian government only a couple of years ago. The 4 pillars say courage, endurance, mateship and sacrifice, which in some respects reflects Thexton Armstrong. What you see through there, that valley there, that is the Kokoda through there, and that is where the airfield is down there. That's about 2 days walk, 2 days march uphill. This is the first view we got of the end goal, and that is the famous arch, the Kokoda Track Arch, in a place called Ower's Corner. Again, it was up a hill, typically. And that's us at the end. The three, it was a little bit more worse and wear than what you saw us at the start. Unshaven, very, very dirty, very sweaty. Because in the tropics you do nothing but sweat. So, The third, in summary, the third element of how I achieve my goals is the advice and support that I have around me. The fourth is the how. The 2014 was a very important year for me last year because it was 25 years since my transplant. So I wanted to do something big, really big. I made a promise to climb Mount Kilimanjaro and summit it on the 25th anniversary of my donor's death. But how was I going to do that? Obviously, there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of training, and if your goal is a big one like Kilimanjaro, you need to set milestones to help you get there. A bit like stepping stones, like a marathon plan. Stepping stones on the pathway. So I mapped out my whole year training. I set goals for each month, both walking, cycling and other things. Took up swimming gear. I bought books and studied which was the best route to climb the mountain. There were about 8 different ways of getting up that thing. I worked out which was the best tour company to take us up there, which had a good success rate. And unusually for me, I actually booked my travel through a travel agent because of the complexity of the travel. And I just felt that having to research all that was going to be hard enough when I already had enough to plan. So I actually outsourced that, and as I said, very unusual for me. I spoke to others every opportunity about clothing, food to take, what not to take, and preparation. Without it, I know I wouldn't have achieved the summit. Certainly training, those who know Melbourne, that's Mount Dandenong. There's a particular track going from the bottom of Mount Dandenong to the top of Mount Dandenong, straight up to the TV towers, those who know it. And the adage is, as with Kokoda, if you can do it 3 times in one hit, then you're ready. So that's me training for it. This time I enlisted three mates put their hand up to come. I actually didn't ask them. I'd actually booked and paid for my flight before people started saying, can I join you? But again, it was about having that support structure, me talking about it. This is what my goal is for next year. This is what I'm going to do. And individually, 3 others approached me and said, that sounds fantastic, can we come? But it was great because I had someone to train with, had someone to talk to about it, someone to plan with, and so on. So again, it goes back to that previous thing I said about having that support structure around you. This time, 3 mates, all in their 50s. Kilimanjaro is in Africa. It's near the equator in Tanzania. You don't actually get to see the top of Kilimanjaro. That photo, I think, was photoshopped before with the elephant in the front, because I don't think you get to see it very often from the ground. This is the first time we saw the peak. We're already halfway up the mountain. And it's covered in snow. Yeah. Obviously, that was immediately after dawn, so it just got light and it was freezing. But the first time you see your ultimate objective, it's covered in snow, and we were prepared for it. We knew it can snow, but you are on the equator. You don't sort of equate that with snow. But anyway, that's what we struck with the first time. You can see clearly the crater of it's a volcano, or was a volcano. Looking around the reverse of that other photo, you get an indication of how high we are up already. That mountain in the background is 70 kilometres away. That's called Mount Meru, and that is 4,600 metres high. Now, those who know the Australians in the room, Meru is more than double Kosciuszko, which is the highest mountain in Australia. And I looked it up yesterday because I knew I was talking to Kiwis. Meru is 1,000 metres higher than Mount Cook. Okay, so that's the seriousness of it. And we're above it, we're looking down on it at this point. And we've only just got to see the top of Kilimanjaro. That is, again, the top of Kilimanjaro. That's from base camp. We've taken 7 days to get there. Now, it's not a direct way, it's a very circuitous route. The adage, because we're at a high altitude, those who spend longer on the mountain at altitude have a much greater success rate of getting to the top. Those who do the fast track, the shorter ways up, then their success rate is much, much lower. But I knew that because of research, so I picked a company that took one of the longest route to get there. And if you looked at it on a map, it was actually going round in circles almost. But it didn't matter, it's time on the mountain. It's preparation. It's, you know, this particular company followed every day the adage of climb high, sleep light, which is climb high during the day and then come back down and let your body recover from altitude and sleep light. And then you do it again and you do it again and slowly, incrementally getting higher and higher. Except for the last day. Now, it's taken us 8 hours to get to this point. It's about 4,800 metres. It's taken eight days rather. And we've still got 1,200 metres to climb. This is base camp. Up that track there. And then up to the top. It's 1,200 metres and you do it in one hit and you do it at night. There's no electricity. So it is pitch black and it's bloody cold. Reason to do it at night, 2 reasons. First one is in the travel agent books, and that is so you can see the sunrise from the roof of Africa. The second one is psychological. When you're climbing something like that and you're at altitude and you're really, really hurting and you're looking up and you can't see where the top is, that's good. Because you don't know how far you've got to go. If you could daylight and you looked up and saw, God, I've still got 1,000 metres to go, then you probably, and it's all psychological, it probably would have cut it. Well, certainly turn around, it probably just. So we did it at night. It's 6 hours. It's only 1,200 metres in altitude. It's only 6 kilometres in length. So 6 hours, you say. That's 1 kilometre an hour. Yes, it is. You literally go, let's pace. It's all about pace. The guys were watching us for 8 days till we got to this point, and they knew exactly how fast we could walk. They watched us and watched us and watched us. They tested us every time we climbed high. They were watching how we were going. So they knew that there were 7 of us in me, 3 mates, and then 3 others on the tour group. They knew exactly how hard we could go. And we were actually, at that pace, we passed every other group. There were about 20 groups going up that night. We passed every other group except for one, even at that pace. And I won't say it was easy because it was bloody hard. It was much harder than anything else I've done in a short space of time. At that height, and I've never been up that altitude before, my resting heart rate normally is pretty good. It's around about 68, 70. The resting heart rate there is about 100. So you get to the door of the tent, and it's already gone up about 130, 100, and then it stays at that level until you get to the top. So the last time I did a talk like this, I said, "Did you ever think your heart was going to go?" I said, "Yeah, for 6 hours. It's just maxed out, bang, 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 probably about 140 for 6 hours straight." And you just don't know what's going to give out. Anyway, we made it to the top. The sign says Mount Kilimanjaro, congratulations, we are now at Uluru Peak, Tanzania, 5,895 metres above sea level, 19,300 feet, as you can see. Africa's highest point, world's highest freestanding mountain. None of us got altitude sickness, mainly through preparation and obviously a lot of luck. The only other person on our group that got altitude sick was the youngest by about 10 years and the fittest. He was a competing triathlete. He actually lives here on the Gold Coast. He's 41 years old, South African who lives in Australia. And he threw up under that sign, he threw up blood. So the only cure for altitude sickness is to go down straight away. So he made it to the top, but had to go down straight away, very quickly. It can kill you. But the rest of us, we only had that sign for about 15 minutes because that's all you've got. Firstly, it's extremely cold, it's probably about minus 15 degrees. And secondly, as I said, we passed a lot of other groups, it's dead turn in the sun. You have to take your photos and then you get out, effectively. But I did have time to take that photo. That is me taking a selfie. I carry Samantha's photo with me every week. So I'm honouring Samantha. That's the anniversary we're there. So, the fourth reason is preparation. Sorry, look, the fourth element is preparation, which makes it a nice little word. And conclusion. So, and you will read, or in other words, activity. Activity equals results. I just threw this in here because I know it's not in all the materials, but it's actually extremely true in the context of what I've been talking about. You have plans, you think, I'm going to climb a mountain. It can't be that hard. People do it all the time. But there's obviously a lot of things that get in the way. And it's how motivated you are, what your reasons are, what the driving force is, how long you've done in preparation, what your support structure is that helps you get you through the things along the way. That's my family now. My wife, we've been married for 36 years in October. My 4 children, 4 grandchildren, 2 dogs, and all my children have partners except for my daughter. So we've got 1 married and 2 engaged. Now when you think about it, not only would Caitlin not be alive, because she wouldn't have been born if I had died, but the 3 boys would not have had a father all their life, or most of their life, and my wife would not have had a husband, and let alone the in-laws. So, any questions?
What's your next one?
Around the Bay in the Day, those in Melbourne will know that there's an annual cycling event. Melbourne's on the top of a bay, Port Phillip Bay, and there's a cycling event that circumnavigates the bay and crosses the bottom of the bay by a ferry, through a ferry, so that's 210 cars in total.
Prior to your the liver failure,
Yeah.
what was life like for what like?
Life, well, as I said, I didn't fall into any high risk groups, so I'm perfectly healthy. No issues at all with my health. Been married 10 years, 3 young kids.
Adventurer?
Sorry?
Were you an adventurer then?
No. And I actually don't think I'm an adventurer now. I just got a different motivational force driving me that makes me do things like that. And I don't do it every year, you know, just some of those things. But yeah, I do. It's a celebration for me, and it's. But from that moment on, that's when I realised that I used to say, and I think a lot of people say, that I'll do that one day. I'll get around to doing that one day. One day when that's going to come. With health issues like mine. So I made a vow to do something that I've never done once a year. And that, so for 18 years. So since that time in 1985 when I decided not to do this channel, I've been doing the one thing a year.
So Warwick, are you in touch with your donors?
Yes. Yeah. Very rarely. It's actually about 15 years ago. we sign legal waivers to communicate to each other rather than anonymously through a third party. So that's why I know a lot about Samantha and that's why I have a photo. So we're in touch. They live in Adelaide. We're in touch numerous times with Christmas cards, if they're visiting Melbourne, if I'm visiting, or my wife and I are visiting Adelaide, we'll see each other. I've met Samantha's family. I've been to Samantha's grave, and that's confronting. I've been to Samantha's grave a couple of times. They obviously see in Caitlin a reincarnation of Samantha. Caitlin was known, by the way, as Caitlin Samantha Alexandra. Alexandra being Princess Alexandra Hospital in Brisbane. Yeah, I am in touch, and I'm very, very grateful because it completes a jigsaw. Very important for me. Just that.
Tell me, this is a complicated question. What goals have you set that are very difficult? I know lots of you've told some of them, but very difficult, and you actually have this nagging, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And how did you handle the negative side of that, the negative voice in your head?
The one I was least confident at doing was the Oxfam trial walk, funnily enough, because for everything else I was able to train for. I mean, if you do enough Mount Daniel long enough, you've equal Kilimanjaro. Okay, you can't replicate the altitude because there's nothing like it in Australia. You can't replicate the cold, but you can replicate the steepness, the oxygen required, the lung capacity and things like that. But Oxfam Trail Walk is 100 kilometres and you just can't train that much. I did a 50k walk in training 2 weeks beforehand and nearly killed me. And that was from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I got finished that and I was so lacking in confidence that I actually could do the 100k that I really felt that I wasn't going to do it. I actually reset a goal of actually doing, there's 7 stops along the way. So I think if I got to the 4th stop, then that would increase my PB from 50k to 55, and that was my first goal, just to beat my PB. So, but then when I got there, I think, oh gee, I'm feeling much better than what I was 2 weeks ago. So I just went on, one step in front of the other, and then we ended up making it. But yeah, that was the one that I really felt that I wasn't going to do.
So you had an angel on one shoulder, the
Yes.
devil on the other, the devil was saying, come on, give up, give up. He's trying to stop you from doing it, and the other side was the angel was encouraging you on, so a fight was going on.
Any time I've given up, something I've started in terms of, once I've got going, was after marathon swimming. I've done 2 long marathons at that point. One was 18k and one was 25. 8 hours and 23 minutes in total one, without touching the boat. And there was the next swim I was going to do was 16k, and my wife and I decided the night before it was in Tasmania, my wife and I decided that I wasn't going to attempt the channel because it was coming to a head and we had to make a decision. So I started the swim, and it was a triangular course in a lake in the hills behind Launceston. It was freezing cold, even though it was in March. It was freezing cold, and I got lapped by the world champion open water swimmer at the time, and it was a lady by the name of Melissa Cunningham, and she was being paced by 2 blokes. Because I'm still 40 something, and most everyone else in the field is 20 something. And I got lapped after 1.5 laps. And because I'd already made a decision that I wasn't going to do the channel, I mentally was not able to complete it. The cold got to me. I did 3 laps. I did 3k, and I did 3k. Like we're doing 6k's in training, and I could only swim 3k, and that's the only time I actually pulled out. I just wasn't mentally prepared. It was just too cold. It wasn't too cold. It was because I wasn't able to compartmentalise the cold and put it to one side.
You didn't have that end goal.
So, no,
I said you didn't have that end goal.
no, I couldn't focus. I had no motivation.
So just one quick question on that comment there. You said you had no motivation, and obviously a big part of achieving a goal is you've got the ebbs and the flows of the lows of a lack of motivation, and then you've got the highs as well. What techniques or sort of things did you use to get you out of those lows where you're sort of thinking, like Dad was saying, I can't do it? What pulled you out of that and brought you back up into this frame of mind that you could do it?
I think fundamentally I'm mentally strong when I put my mind to something anyway. So again, it's a support structure. I think it's just talking to people about it. And yeah, it's just probably no techniques that I have in particular. Probably, or maybe I haven't thought it through. I haven't analysed that part of it. But yeah, it's probably more just the fact that I've committed to it. I'm doing it. There's another training day coming up, there's another this, there's another conversation, there's another whatever it is, and that's just got me back on track.
It's just no option. You've committed to it and you're going to do it.
Yeah. And if I'm actually, on the mountain or, on the Dakota or whatever, it was just, just getting to the end goal, that's all you can see. Just, if this is what I've got to do to get to the summit or get to this, then that's what I've got to do. So there's no option when you're on it, when you're doing it. It's just getting to that point. And that's one thing about having people involved, like, lucky enough to have my two sons in Dakota, that you're training together, if one's down, the other two help you get back up again. And, with Kilimanjaro, training for that, and there was 4 of us. We weren't training together, but we had communication together. Sometimes we might have trained together. But you were always comparing with each other about what you're doing. And, someone often did things that I didn't do, and others, I did my own way, but you're still comparing notes.
I was going to say, just listening to you, I was reminded of there's a documentary I saw a little while ago about Kurt Fernley, wheelchair athlete, amazing guy, and he crawled because of his disability, crawled Dakota.
Yeah, he did it. He did it with the same company I did it with, but just after, but I think about 6 months after I did it.
In this documentary, we referred to as a phrase that stuck with me. He just said that your body is a useless heap of skin, muscle and bone. Your mind can achieve anything. And I'm just wondering, you obviously done, does that sort of resonate with you?
Yeah, certainly the summit attempt at Kilimanjaro was very much like that. And we were warned. The tour leader, a local Tanzanian, as they call themselves, Tanzanian, we'd say. He the night before we attempted it, he said, "You can all do it. Physically, you're all capable. It's what's up here." And it is so tough. It's 6 hours of just non-stop slog. Your heart rate's going, heart's going through your head. It's so cold. I've never been so cold. You're praying to stop for a rest, and then when you stop, you want to get going again because it's so bloody cold. You're wearing 2 or 3 layers on your hands, and you don't even eat because that would require taking your backpack off, and knowing that the last time you did that, sweat on your back froze. And, you never got warm again, so you didn't even get food out of your pack, which is what you're planning to do. So which is hard. So the mental side of it, and I was just able. In fact, funny what you draw inspiration on. Just drew inspiration on it. I went through each one of those, including my daughters-in-law and my grandchildren, and went through them individually and did it to them. When it really got tough, I thought of them. And and then suddenly the leader says, "We've got 45 minutes to go." And I'm thinking we've still got hours. But I've just been able to get it out of my mind, put it to one side, and he said 45 minutes to go. And I said, what? He said, yeah, 4 or 5 minutes. I said, I can do 45 minutes. It obviously meant I've already done 5 hours. And then that was it. I knew I had it then.
At what altitude did you start using Christian capacity at all?
I didn't. To the upper altitude oxygen.
Over the years, the 11,500 feet.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. No, I didn't. Yeah.
If your organ was fine
Yeah.
and nothing happened to you, would you have done the stuff
No.
we've talked about?
No. Well, I wouldn't have represented Australia for starters.
I said that.
Yeah, wouldn't have gone back and it just wasn't good enough. And then that then got me on the road and everything else. So, swimming, competing at World Transplant Games led me to marathon swimming. When that didn't work, it led me to doing one thing a year, and that just translated and obviously just ramped up and ramped up and ramped up. But, yeah, none of that what we've done. I don't know where I'll be now. Anything else?
Let's give him a round of applause.